I just discovered something and I'm super happy about it. This was not where this video was supposed to go. I was going to be sort of rolling back into the motifs thing for a second because in a previous video, the one featuring the ice elemental back there on the thumbnail, I talked about motifs. Specifically, I referenced this piece and how well it can connect to the Gresh Star's armor here. But when I referenced this piece, I think I called it like the Vaki Avmatoran limb or something like that. And someone asked what I meant about that. Well, this is what I meant. These two pieces are essentially the same piece, or at least in terms of the design. There's other inspiration taken for the design of this piece too, and it's why I have a soft spot for Avmatoran limbs, even though, yes, unfortunately, they use the sockets there that are quite fragile. But one of the other pieces that I knew had a reference to a previous piece in the Bionicle's past, one of the more iconic pieces from Bionicle as well, was this one. What does this remind you of when you first look at it right off the bat? It might take a moment, but it's the Toa Mata torso. And I loved that. Now, interestingly, this is something I realized a while ago. This is not what like shocked me on the entrance at the intro of this video. But what I did realize was that you can connect these pieces. It's a perfect connection. The piece goes all the way in and it doesn't wobble. It's designed to fit this. It's designed to fit this. How has nobody noticed this? Has anybody? I mean, someone has to have tried, surely. The whole point of this video was not even to talk about this connection because I've never tried it before. I've just always known these pieces look similar because it's very clear that LEGO designed this to look like this piece, to be inspired by this piece. I made reference to it in passing. I actually had to re-record this video because I forgot to get it out for the video because I was focusing on other pieces. One piece you might be familiar with that has a shared motif are the leading edges on these weapons here. This sort of sword-like compound bow-like weapon here, this axe, but also appearing on the power sword from the Jalurmari set, which also has a handful of other motifs as well, including these pieces, which both have similar designs to them. And again, going back to that power sword, you could see that the base on these is the same as well. So I was just looking through these. I mentioned, like I said, in passing, that something else from LEGO had a motif, because a lot of pieces have. LEGO takes a lot of inspiration from pieces that it has created in the past. One of the other ones I pointed out in that video, which you guys won't see because I'm re-recording it right now, but was this, because these two pieces never show up in the same set, as far as I'm aware, at least. But they have that motif, and that's so cool, because personally, this is one of my favorite weapons from later Bionicle as well. And yeah, so as I was going through this, I'm like thinking to myself, well, what other pieces did LEGO make that looked similar to something else? A lot of the time when LEGO creates a motif, a part inspired by another part, it's usually contained within the same set, right? A lot of the Karapar armor pieces have a lot of very similar structures to them. A lot of the Takadox, and so on and so forth, right? Because it's all within one set. The same can be said for Jalurmari here as well. These all appear in Jalurmari set. But I decided to re-record because I thought about, I should probably show them this piece that I'm talking about. So I stopped the video, I got up, I went ahead and grabbed it, and then grabbed one of these out. And I was like, I want to test this real quick. It just works. Like, what? The fact that I've never, oh my gosh, it's so good. I love it so much. And the craziest part about this, it's making me think, I actually like teared up a little bit, which is crazy. But we didn't get the Toa Nuva armor in pearl gold, not the torso armor anyway, but we did get the shoulder pads. And so now I really want to make a Taka Nuva with the pearl gold one of these instead of the Nuva armor, just to see how it looks. It's small, it's definitely smaller than Nuva armor for sure, but it's so cool. Something else you might not have known, unrelated to the motifs, but definitely related to this piece in specific, is this actually comes in two different shades of gold for some reason. Some sites differentiate these colors. One of them is usually called like warm gold, while the other one's called pearl gold. Some sites just consider them the same, and I don't think it's like any specific set that comes with them. Sometimes you just get this one, sometimes you get this one. I personally like this one a bit better, the darker one. It just has a less toyish look to it. And thankfully, that piece comes in 4 different colors. I wish it would have come in more personally, but it comes in, well, I guess 5 colors if you count both shades of gold. But both shades of gold, flat silver, and then also black and white. And interestingly, black does not come in a Bionicle set. It comes in a Star Wars set of all things. Yeah, so this just blew me away completely. It's a crazy discovery, and surely other people have discovered things like this too. Like, I'm gonna play around with more of the CCBS armor add-on pieces now, specifically with this piece, but I'd like to test them on like Metru torsos or something like that too. But really, like, that, just the fact that that just works and it goes in all the way, like it's like it was intended to work with it, to be backwards compatible, and that's so good because it's such a good piece. And again, you can see like how similar it is. It has the base down here, very similar to this. It has the pistons on each side and this like bellow type design here, very similar to this area of the torso as well. And of course, this is flat rather than being textured like the body is here. But I think that works. I don't know if I mentioned it in a previous video, but I talked about how I was making my Generation 2 Turaga builds and how I would have personally liked to have seen, if LEGO had made G2 Turaga, these pieces with printing on this, very similar to how the G2 Toa Master sets had printing on their torso pieces, but in this case here it'd be very simple, just usually a 1 color with an outline of a 2nd color, and it's basically it, but just like lines, like symbols, you know, tribal markings or whatever, you know, take inspiration from whatever you want, of course, but there's like just enough space there to get something interesting out of it, and I would have loved to have seen it from LEGO. Unfortunately, that's obviously not what we got. We didn't get Generation 2 Turaga at all. The characters never actually even showed up in the story, and I don't believe they were mentioned, because as far as I know, they didn't exist in Generation 2. This is not a video about Gen 2 Bionicle, by the way, because I've made those, and I plan on making more, because I do have other new things to say about it. But yeah, just in general, literally sat down because someone commented on that video asking me what I meant by the Vaki Avmatoran leg. And I was like, you know what? There's so many motifs from LEGO Bionicle that I wanted to touch on it. And I can't cover them all in a video, partially because I don't know all of them. I'm going to continue to find them as time goes on. And I'd love to hear from you guys what sort of like motifs you have seen as well. I think another very obvious one, although I don't know I'd consider it a motif per se, but is the Tanma mask, the Noble Miru that he wears, and its similarities to the Cow Cow Nuva from 2002, because they're actually very similar masks overall, very similar design points. But anyway, that's everything I can cover in this video. Like I said, I didn't want to drag this one on forever, but if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It does really help out the channel. And of course, as always, you could check out the conversation in the comments below, or of course, check out the Discord, Instagram, or Patreon for my sports channel gets perks in the description. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care.